We can, cross boundaries between different forms of art. A really big part of Insurgo is opening up the art form of dance to a wider audience. It's such a very interesting way of creating work, using our bodies to tell stories. And I like combining dance and theater because it gives this union where you can use your bodies to tell stories.
I sort of think of Insurgo as an outgrowth of the work that me and Avi did at Rutgers. I really like being the person to sort of bounce ideas off of, to maybe talk to and clarify thinking, and that's sort of how I've been for her creatively in this process.
I think ultimately it's a really interesting way to work because you get these dancers, or these people, these performers to look at their life as theater and look at their life as the stories that are worth telling, which is all there really is.
Avi has become very, very successful at working in a consensus and democratic model. She goes in and she doesn't even know what the show is about. She discovers that with the people that she's working with, and I haven't done that yet. I haven't been brave enough to do that yet. And I'm really impressed by that, and I'm really proud of her being able to find that. I'm proud of the dancers for having the courage to continually go to these really difficult and sometimes very dark places, really hard places to exist in emotionally, particularly since I found a lot of dancers are not used to being asked their opinion. A lot of dancers seem to be constantly in the position of, I need you here, I need you now, and you need to be doing this. And then to force them to speak, they're often very uncomfortable with that. I found a lot of the dancers I've worked, but once they sort of open that door, it's a really brilliant and beautiful experience to them, and they carry that with them.
I do think it's really empowering to be able to dance whatever comes to your mind, or to do an improv-based movement, but I think what's even more powerful is that we are taking our experience and living that through someone else's, because we'll always take what we know of an experience and then either pick up a note card or get somebody else's objective and kind of have to bring what we have and what someone else has together in order to get what we want, or to put something out there. So I think it's kind of the combining of shared experiences that makes it so unique.
It's like its best kept secret is like this under the surface bubbling art scene of all these art students and people who stick around New Brunswick, and all these musicians and these bands, and it's also there's this spontaneity to it where if you're not there then you miss it. And if you don't know this person who happens to be having this open mic in their garage or their basement, then you miss the awesome drum circle where everyone spontaneously starts dancing, and that was it. There's no institutions. There's at least for emerging artists, for student artists who are transitioning into being professional artists, and that is a shame because there's so much here and there's so much possibility here. Out in New Brunswick in different places, we have this project we're doing that is tentatively called Dance in Unconventional Spaces, which comes from the fact that there's not a lot of dance space easily or cheaply readily available, and so we'll be dancing in hallways and basements and art galleries and on street corners and in parks. If they leave troubled, it's better. If they leave feeling like they just experienced something, like they just opened some sort of door or were let into something, that questions came up, I think that's the best thing you can do for an audience. In a lot of my different shows, I use text in varying degrees. Either it's very text heavy, or like in Sentient, the last show, it was really just that one poem. So in that way, we're really using the audience and the performers to create the content of the show, and to give them sort of agency in creating the meaning and creating the experience of it. When you can access the audience and you can get to them at that level, at that base level of all those human interactions that we all experience day by day, then you are actually starting to help them ask questions that can heal things in their relationships, and therefore, hopefully, start bringing that to a larger world and start thinking about that in a larger sphere. I would really like to have Insurgo be something that is New Brunswick born and bred, you know, a genuine hailing from New Brunswick, and have that be something that actually means something in a few years. You know, I want New Brunswick to actually, and I think it can be, a place that is actually a flourishing art scene that people start to recognize as such. I don't think it's impossible.